Today I'm going to be harvesting my potatoes and some more spaghetti squash. If you haven't seen me harvest some of the spaghetti squash before, one of my last videos demonstrated showing when they're ready. And I went through here this morning and I saw that 3 more of them were ready. So I'm using some snippers to help me with the process. I'm cutting them, leaving a couple inches on the stem. It's nice and dried out. It's a really good yellow color. So I'm going to go through and collect the 3 of the summer squash or the spaghetti squash that for sure are ready. There might be a couple other ones in here that are ready. I saw that some of the acorn squash might be ready, but I'm basically just going to see how it looks. These big ones, I really don't even know what they are. If anybody has a good idea, please let me know. I think that they might be cross-pollinated from some seeds that I saved last year. So I still haven't opened it up yet, the last one that I harvested, to see how it looks inside. I'm thinking it's going to be a spaghetti squash, but maybe it's acorn crossed with a spaghetti squash, and we'll see what the insides look like. But regardless, we're going to harvest them and see what they are. I'm not going to let anything go to waste just because I don't know what it is. Here's another one ready. I'm actually going to cut off some of these vines that are growing and trying to produce some more squash. This would be an acorn squash, and there's not enough time in the season. Plus I need to start clearing some of this out so I can clean it up and get all of this cleaned up for winter. You just can't keep letting it grow. Now this one, I'm not going to cut. See, it's got a couple of really pretty acorn squash on it. So I'm going to get this out of the bed and help it continue growing elsewhere. And this whole length is coming off of the trellis. I think it's more tromboncini squash trying to grow. I don't know if you can see it this low. No, it doesn't look like it. See, that little guy, just another little tromboncini that's trying. I'm gonna let the summer squash varieties go a little bit longer. They don't take as long to ripen up and be ready to harvest. So I'm gonna give that a little bit more time. Here's what happens when you're not super careful about the vines that you're cutting. You cut off one this is a really underdeveloped spaghetti squash. It hasn't changed to a yellow color yet. The stem's super green. I could try and see if it will ripen off of the vine, but I don't think that it would be very successful. So I'm actually just going to cut this one open and feed it to the chickens and the goats. This one I actually used the fingernail method to make sure that it was ready because I couldn't quite tell by the color of the stem. So I pushed my fingernail on it pretty dang hard, and it's really hard. So this is another one I'm really interested to see what it looks like inside. It's a little bit warty on the surface of it, and it obviously has this really cool variegated look. So I'm really curious to see what this one's going to look like and taste like inside. It's just Da Vinci and Mona enjoying some of the leftover squash pieces. It's nice to have little eco-friendly garbage disposals. Okay, so all of my potatoes were planted in grow bags this year because I really liked being able to dump them out last year and harvest all the potatoes really easily without digging. I brought all of the bags, let's see, there's 2, 4, 5 of them here. There was one more over there that didn't look quite as ready to be harvested, so I'm going to let that one have a little bit more time. But I brought all 5 bags over here because I want to dump their soil into these beds. I didn't want to just dump them out and kind of waste the soil space. So I'm actually gonna dump them here now that I've cleaned out some of the squash vines. Interestingly, some of these look like a variety of potatoes. I know that I planted just kind of whatever I had, but the leaves on this one in particular look a little bit more like sweet potatoes. So I'm curious to see what's going to come out of this bag. Maybe I planted some sweet potatoes. I don't remember exactly. I actually just used what was sprouting in my pantry anyway. But you can see that they're all pretty much ready to go. They're falling over. They're getting really like kind of dead looking. They could look a little bit worse off. Like this one's pretty bad looking now. It's getting pretty browned on the edges. So they could look a little bit worse, but I'm kind of just ready to go ahead and harvest them. So I'm going to be careful to not dump over my pepper plants. I'm actually still having a little bit of production on some of these, so I don't want to knock them over and kill them. Let's start with the first one. The hose out of the way. The size of this worm, my goodness. That'll be good to keep in this bed for later. Okay, that'll go to the goats. Wowee. This is a pretty good haul so far. I could keep digging through here, but these are pretty sizable considering this was from one bag, so that's not too bad. I might find some more as I keep digging. Some little teeny ones going. Good size one. Wow, a couple of really nice ones. My preference is gold potatoes. Oh look, a red one's in there. But I like gold potatoes the most myself for eating. I rarely buy or grow russet potatoes because I feel like gold potatoes are a lot more versatile. I like the way that they taste. So there's actually a couple green tomatoes that fell in. I'm gonna leave them. Maybe I'll get some volunteer tomato plants in here next year. This was all straight compost that I put in the bags for the potato growing. And just look at how beautiful this dirt is now. This is why I didn't want to just dump it in the yard. Like, this is really nice dirt now. Okay, and here's the one that I suspect is sweet potatoes based on the way that the leaves look. Oh, the roots are really strong on the bag. Well, first one is a gold potato for sure. Another gold. Another big fat worm. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's not focusing. There we go. Another big fat worm. Holy crap, another big potato. Yeah, I guess the leaves were just tricking me on this because... Oh no, here we go. There's a sweet potato. I knew that those leaves looked like it. But it looks like I mostly got gold potatoes from this. I'm going to have to put these down to get more room in my hands. More giant worms. Be happy to keep them in this garden bed for sure. Okay, I think that's it. Another little tiny one. I'm sure that there's some more little tiny ones that I'm missing in here that will sprout and give me some potatoes next year. Well, this isn't a super massive harvest, but it's not too bad. I got one nice sweet potato out of the bunch. I got some really nicely sized gold potatoes. I think this is probably the biggest one. And then a bunch of little new ones. Not as many red potatoes as I remember planting, but maybe they just didn't take off. Or there still has 1 or 2 more bags over there to go through. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and watching me unearth the grow bag potato method. I am a big fan of it. I feel like perhaps to get a bigger yield, you just use more bags. These are the bags that I use. I think that they're considered a 5-gallon. So if I had enough sprouted potatoes, seed potatoes to start, I could have done more bags. But I definitely didn't start with this many seed potatoes. I think I had 1 per bag that I cut up into like 4 or 5 pieces. And you know, it's an easy way to multiply what you've already got. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you never miss any of my videos. Happy gardening!